Welcome. We're delighted you're here to join us today. This webinar is a workshop designed to introduce and familiarize you with the new registry portal, which will be visible at usshortcodes.com after the transition is complete, January 1st, 2026. We are recording this webinar, which is why microphones and cameras are off. If you have questions during the presentation, please use the Q&A function found in the toolbar. Our team will answer as many questions live as time permits. For those that we're unable to get to, we'll send a typed response and follow up as needed. The recording of this webinar will be posted as our other transition webinars have been posted to the transition website in the coming days. We're delighted you're here and look forward to learning along with you. And with that, we'll turn it over to Ariel for the presentation today.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jeff. I'm so excited you're sitting next to me today. This is great. Because of that, I cannot see the Q&A. So Greg, I'm going to let you be my eyes and ears on the Q&A as you see things pop in. Please interrupt me so we can answer questions as we go. And keep them. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And keep the questions coming. I did think that I would kick us off with just a quick reminder on how to get your account set up. For those of you that have already come in and begun this process, thank you so much. I did a tiny bit of healthy stalking on those who had registered. So you all are about 30% in, which is fantastic, but definitely room for improvement. So 4 super easy steps. Go into your email and take a peek looking for this email so you can begin the account setup. Or if you'd like, you can come into, thanks, Jeff. Or you can come into usshortcodestransition.com and click that Begin Account Setup button, and that will kick off the same process utilizing the email or user ID that you have within the registry itself, and that will bring you through the process of going to set up a new password as well as set up your MFA. As a reminder, there are 2 ways to set up MFA. One is our favorite short code 2FA SMS, or you can utilize a one-time time-based passcode authenticator app. Try saying that 3 times fast. And those are the likes of Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator. Any of those will work, and you can utilize that as your methodology as well. Once you are inside of the application, I am going to do this so that I can actually change my tab. Once you are inside of the application, you will be automatically navigated to My Account. And as a reminder, to be able to update any of your profile information, you'll come here to My Profile. And from here, you can edit any of your personal information that you find over here, like phone number, email, address. You can sign up for email subscriptions as well as change your password or change your MFA if you'd like. And lastly, you can come in here to add your payment methods. Again, you have the option of utilizing card or ACH, popping the information in and saving it. If you normally pay by wire or check, you should have received an email from us on Friday with details on that wire or check payment information. If you need that and you didn't receive it, please feel free to reach out to me or email cso@usshortcodes.com, and our customer success team would love to send that your way. There we go. Everything that we talked about last time in about 5 minutes. Does anyone have any questions about account setup before I move on and into the registry itself? Let's go over to a share code and start walking through the process start to finish. What I'm going to cover with you today is the ordering of a code, the short code management hub, and that will include cancellations, renewals, and transfers of codes, as well as looking at the billing tab. We will cover more in depth the process of submitting brands and content providers into the system, vetting, association of codes with their brands on December 9th on our next webinar. So not trying to overwhelm with information today. Groovy. So we kind of went through this last time for those of you that joined us in terms of being able to add things to our cart. This works exactly the same as it does on the public website today. You can come in, load up to 20 codes at a time, pick them, add them to the cart. Once you are inside of the cart, couple of things that to take a look at inside of here. The first is being able to change your lease terms is the click of a button. You can do that globally across all of the codes that you're looking to lease, or you can do it one at a time. Monthly billing is available for anyone who has 5 or more active short codes in their account. And if that's available to you, you can select that as well. You can see over here that you can get a running total of where your order is at. First month 3 is automatically applied. If you have any credits inside of your account, those will automatically be applied as well. Couple of options with regards to the leasing of codes inside of the cart here, which is a change from what exists today. So you can select at the time of lease the program type that you would like this code to be under. Standard is your typical commercial brand. It also is any political organization that's going to be added to a brand. No discounts for our politicians, I'm sorry. So standard and political is that program type. If you are working with a government or a charitable organization, you can select at the time of lease, that is who you are working with and achieve that discount right now. And when you go through the process of associating the brand with the lease is when we marry both together. Also inside of here, beyond government and charitable, is your use type. So this is where you would demark a code as either parked or demo at the time of leasing. If you have any questions about these definitions, these little helper texts help remind you. A note about parked codes, or a reminder rather, is that you can only reserve those for 6 months without a brand client being added. So you'll want to make sure to update any codes that you have as parked before that 6 months is out. Boop. Proceeding to payment. We have various options here when it comes to payment, and you'll see that there are some that are grayed out on me right now, and that is because if you do select monthly, the auto renewal has to be done either by card or by ACH. If you'd like to pay by check or wire, that is not available to you. So if I wanted to see what that looks like, all I have to do is come out here, change that leasing term, and our check and our wire is available to me. And I don't need to pay later because, as you can see, my credits fully zero me out right now, which is convenient. But if I did, pay later terms are 30 days from the time of purchase, and then you have 30 days to complete that invoice. So for the purposes of this demo, you can add a card or an ACH that you have on file, or you can add a new one straight from the interface. Same type of process that you're going through right now underneath my account. And here underneath check and wire, the billing information that you need or the remittance information that you need appears. Let's use the card that we have on file. We accept the terms and our industry best practices. And I'm grateful for my credit. What a bargain. And there we go. So what you'll see inside here is the receipt for the order that you just purchased. There are 3 types of documents for download to pay attention to inside of the registry. So the first is an invoice. Those are where you have used pay later, wire, ACH. That's going to document for you what it is you owe to the registry. The second is the receipt once an order has been paid. And then a statement is the association between a paid up lease and the vetted brand. And I do know that that is a change. So we'll continue to talk about those documents, but I wanted to point them out here. An example of a receipt. There you go. Pretty straightforward, going to detail for you what codes, types, the programs, all of the relevant details. Oop. And all of that can be done straight from here. Once you have purchased a code, the next thing to do is go and manage them. Any questions about the lease purchase process? We hope it's straightforward.
No questions posted so far, so.
Amazing. Short Code Management Hub. So this is the heart and soul of the registry. It is the place where you can come and see all of the codes and see what actions need to be taken against them. So when you're looking here at the top, you have your filter cards. The first is going to tell you all of the codes that you currently have taken out of the registry pool and are underneath your management. So that includes where you have codes that are pending payment, codes where you have a pay later, you may not have paid against them, and then up-to-date paid codes is there. If you'd like to see everything, including the expired codes that are inside of your account, all you have to do is click that toggle and they will come up to the top. And again, a nice helper question mark here to help explain what is included or excluded within those worlds. But for the most part, you'll be living inside of active codes. Needs onboarding action. This is the quick way to see all of the codes that do not currently have a brand associated with them. So you'll see where I haven't started or where you start the in progress, where you've started that process but haven't fully completed clicking submit and that association. All come through to here. Needs billing action. Not much to say there. It means something has to be done, whether that is to send in a check, you've got something for pay later, that sits there. Anything that you have inside of auto renewal gets popped right here, and anything that is up for expiration can be found inside of that filter. The registry itself is searchable by brand, content provider, or short code. So if you have a particular brand that you are looking for, all you have to do is type it. Same thing with a short code. If you want to see that, pull it straight to the top. Pretty straightforward there. And then the different data points that you have available to you inside of the table. So every short code has its own profile, the onboarding process, which we'll go through in a couple weeks' time. You can see the different programs. That's again, standard, government, or charitable, and you can sort on all of these things to be able to pull them together. Use type is your normal parked demo, your term, and then your order number is also clickable. So if you wanted to be able to see the details of a particular order, you can go and jump straight off from the short code management hub to that. Your brands, same notion. If you want to go take a peek at a brand profile, you can do that straight out of the short code management hub as well. Content provider, and then billing status. This is filterable, and we've got quite a few different examples of billing statuses here for you to take a look at inside of this demo account. Most will standardize inside of a couple of different billing statuses, I would imagine, but this is where you can see where transfers are at, what has been paid, how has it been paid. Each of these pills is going to show you if the status of a particular payment, the way that that was paid, if it's on an auto payment or not, and then when the expiration of that particular lease is, the start date from that lease, and then the action button here, depending on, so this one's an auto renewal, so you can either transfer or cancel the lease. If we were sitting inside, let me see if I can grab, here we go. You also have the option to renew straight from here. So if we click on that, for example, what it will do is add that code straight up into our shopping cart. And I can go from here and go through the same process as if I was buying a new code. In fact, if you want to purchase a new code and purchase a renewal and process it all at the same time and on the same order, you can do that. That renewal, you can change the lease term, and you can also set something to auto renew straight from the shopping cart. And that takes care of all of the functionality inside of our shortcode management hub. How am I doing? Telling you, silence is acceptance is the weirdest thing inside of this environment.
Yeah, no questions.
No questions.
You covered it well.
I am rocking it today, y'all. Thank you. Okay. Beautiful. So why don't we hop into a short code itself and take a peek at all of the information that we can get about a particular code. So here we can see the status of the code. If we haven't begun onboarding, you can immediately start that process by clicking right here. And as soon as you begin that process, you will change that code to in progress as opposed to not started. If the code has completed onboarding, I'll grab this guy. When onboarding is complete, you'll also be able to see all of the onboarding information about that particular code. So what brand was associated, the registrant, content provider, DCA, and ASP. Once you've completed that onboarding as well, this is where that statement will appear for you and where you can download it. You can also see all the salient details about that code itself. So the type of code that you leased, program, use type, again, all of the columns that we had inside of the shortcode management hub as well. You can always come in to edit your onboarding information. So if for whatever reason, brand client has changed, content provider DCA has changed, that's as simple as coming in here to edit the onboarding actions. And you can also delete onboarding. So if you want to start over, you want to disassociate all of the information that has been associated with this particular code, you can do that with, again, a confirmation and the click of a button, and you can begin that process again, just bearing in mind that you can no longer download a statement because the association has now been broken. Inside of the shortcode profile page, you can also see billing and invoices. Your billing contact straight at the top, and you can always edit that contact and any information right there. You have the option to renew from inside of the profile page, and that again is going to, we've already put it in our cart, it's going to add it directly into your cart. You can also, if this were not a paid code, so if maybe we had a pay later, for example, you could pay it now straight from here, and also you can download receipts and invoices. The current payment method that you have will be right here. And if you have any scheduled payment information, that would appear here. So for example, if you wanted to update your lease term and schedule that out, you click here. Maybe upon expiration, I would like it to be a 3-month lease. I do that. I can set it straight to auto renew from here so that maybe I don't have to do it manually. So the lease of this current code is for 6 months. It's valid until April 21st. That's my birthday. And then upon April 21st, it would then convert into a 3-month lease. You would be billed that $1,500 then, and then it would auto renew every 3 months thereafter. I've got a lot of professional short code lessees on the line right now, so I'm sure this is all making perfect sense. But if any of this isn't jiving or you have questions about it, do let me know. But 2 different ways to go through that renewal again. You can either pop it into your cart, lease it, pay for it now, get that done, or you can schedule it for in the future over here inside of that lease term, which is kind of nice depending on how it is you'd like to conduct your business for those particular codes. And then transfers and cancellations. So the transferring of a code is extremely straightforward. I've been getting a couple of questions around transfers. So let's transfer a code. It's super fun. So the first thing that you need is the account ID of the organization that you are wanting to transfer your code to. If you do not know that offhand, what you need to do is reach out to that partner and tell them to go to the My Account section of their registry, and their account ID will be right up in that left-hand corner on the account details page. So account ID is 208. Continue. You get the confirmation of that organization name for you up at the top. Yes, I do. This is a reminder that all auto renews and monthly subscriptions or scheduled renewals will be broken because you are no longer going to be in control of this code once it's transferred. Accept the terms. And that process has been initiated. Both the transfer out and transfer in recipients will receive an email confirming that that is what is happening, as well as you'll see the status change inside of the registry. For the organization that would be accepting the code, they will see that inside of their short code management hub. And from here, they can decide if they would like to decline it or accept it. I'd like to accept it, especially because it sounds like a really great way to celebrate my birthday. This short code now has a billing status that does now not allow the accepting the incoming transfer. What did I do, Greg, when I was coming through this?
You didn't want to change which one you did, but you did it. You set up a second. You set up a second renewal on your birthday.
Oh, because
and
I
then you
set up
tried
the
to
renewal on
transfer
my
it.
birthday. I got
Yeah.
really excited about it. I shouldn't have tried. All right, well, here. I'm going to cancel this transfer because I was trying to do too many things on the same code. Forgive me. Let's go get a fresh one. Let's do
Typically, you
two
wouldn't pay
things
for it ahead of time before you
ahead
transfer
of
it to
time.
somebody else.
That makes perfect sense. All right. Oh, and I was testing with this one. So this is, I had rejected it previously. So you can see that I tried to transfer it out once before and it was rejected out. Maybe we've now had a conversation about it and I'd like to try again. I like 23434. I didn't want to let go of it because it was easy to remember. So once again, I'll refresh this page. 23434. Now I'll accept it. January 22nd, ringing in the new year instead of my birthday. Oh, I don't know, Greg. This is the trial and tribulation of a live demo, but this did work earlier. Acceptance is pending. I'm going to try one more time. And if it doesn't work, then I am going to say I am going to check into this, y'all. But I did test it earlier today. Maybe I shouldn't be trying to do it on the same codes as I was testing.
No, I think there's something going on here. So
Been hanging. All right.
this is staging. They updated the load on me. I didn't realize they were doing that. So
Oh, lovely.
need to refresh.
Yep. There we go. Okay, so 318251. We'll give it one more go. Yeah, this sounds like something is on that load. So when it does go through, what happens is you will see the status change such that it is accepted, incoming transfer declined, incoming transfer accepted, and a paid transfer in. So this code was the one I tested earlier today. So you can see what happened. You can see inside of the transfer that it's not open for transfer because you just received it, and that onboarding is needed and to start that process. And for code 37527, what you would see inside of your own account is this. Nothing because it's not there right now. And if I turn out that active codes, you can see that it was transferred out. And if you want to see the details on that, there it is. On November 18th, to GCH Books, and it's accepted. So barring my hiccup, which I am sorry about, are there any questions on that process? Cool. I'm very happy to record a clean video on that for y'all too, once whatever's going on is fixed. And I think that takes care of the short code details page in terms of what is available to you. We covered billing and invoices. Cancellations. To cancel a lease, it is as simple as clicking cancel lease. And it will ask you to take an affirmative action. Cancellation then is processed and gives you the date that it was canceled. Brilliant. Last bit, billing. So inside of billing, everything is organized by your orders. You can see all of the orders that you have historically across your account, and the number of codes and dollars that are associated with those orders. Everything can be filtered down to the last 30 days, past 3 months, and then all the way back to 2023. Or, excuse me, if you'd like a custom date range, you can use that as well. New account, so everything is within the last 30 days. You can also choose to show historical information or not. And again, by default, you are only shown the latest orders, but you can click on the historical to be able to access everything. Trying to keep things clean so that you can see. Pulling things that need action to the top for you. Again, you could see these codes inside of the Short Code Management Hub. You can see them here organized by their order IDs and their billing statuses. Okay. For those of you that participate in monthly billing, all of that gets pulled straight here. So you can take a peek at those, and then historically what's been paid in the last 30 days gets highlighted as well. You can search all of your orders by order ID or for a particular short code. And inside of the table itself, each of these orders is once again clickable. You're able to see all of the information around invoice date, the due date, when the order was paid, the type of method, total number of leases that were on that particular bill. And if you'd like to download the receipt, you can do so. If this were an invoice and a pay later, you could pay it right now. This is also if you selected upon initial lease, you said you wanted to pay by check or you wanted to pay by wire. You could change your mind if you needed, for whatever reason, to generate a statement right now, and you can click that Pay Now button. We give you the opportunity when you are purchasing by check or by wire to put in a purchase reference number for yourself. And then down below, you can see the short codes that were on the order. For this particular receipt, I'm going to download this one. What you have here is this is one where we processed that renewal and that new code all in the same order. So you can see them both side by side here. And that's why inside of here, you have a previous order for that renewal, and you can go back in time to take a look at that as well if you wanted to. Trying to put information easily at your fingertips. Billing status is just that, pretty straightforward, whether your payment is pending, if it's due, or you've already paid it out. Invoice date, due date, paid date. You can sort by your payment method if that is of interest to you. And then, of course, the short codes that are associated with each order and the amount paid on it. So you can see that $0 order that we processed just earlier on in the call. Any questions about billing? I'm loving this, Jeff. I'm doing great, I think. I feel like I should have seeded with questions, questions for the audience, but we were able to cover everything that I had wanted to cover inside of this call right now. Since we have the time, I will touch briefly on reports. We have the ability now to download the same reports that you're currently seeing inside of the registry today. So that's things around what codes are coming up for expiration, what are all of my codes, what are all of my brands that are actively associated with active codes, content providers as well. Short code transfers coming in and out. So this is the start of reports that we'll be going live with. And if there is anything that you are not seeing here that you wish you could report on, do let us know. That's the type of enhancement that I know I always love to hear about. And I'm sure Greg and team would be happy to work on for you in the new year. I'll give it another minute for questions, but if there aren't any, I think we can decide to call this meeting early.
So there's a hand raised. I guess Allison's got her hand raised, but it didn't type a question. So I don't know if you want to.
Allison, would you mind using the Q&A, or I think it could be a small enough group with us today. Maybe I'll open, I think we can open up the
Mic.
the mic. I've got the power. All right, Allison, I think you can unmute.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of questions popping in now. It looks like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've been posting questions and maybe others have, and just y'all aren't seeing it for some reason.
I have stopped sharing my screen and I am now seeing all of them.
They did not pop until I got out of that screen and got back. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries.
All right. Go ahead, Allison. Do you wanna just ask live, or I can read through them?
I posted all of mine, so feel free to just go through the whole list there.
Oh, sure. Okay. So government code was more expensive than a standard code. That is not true. A government code, let me share my screen again. And now that you're seeing questions, Jeff, I will let you help feed me and Greg. Sorry about that, y'all. So a government code. Oop.
It's at this time, it's like 10% off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do we define that anywhere inside of our helps, Greg? I don't know that we do, actually, to talk about the discounting for government and charitable.
We'll likely pull over the FAQs from the others, so I know they're there. But yeah.
That makes sense, because a standard code comes in at $3,000 and the government at 2,700. So yeah, 10%. And then your charitable is down to 1,200.
Why isn't the standard 1,500? Or are you just looking at a vanity code right now?
I've got a select code right now. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's exactly right. What else we got?
And the one below is random. So like if you change the thing on the one below in the renew column there,
Mm-hmm. So
you made that. Yeah, yep. You do that. And then 1,500. And then if you made it a government, then it would be, take it off. So that's sorry about the confusion there.
Yeah, no worries. A question about brand revetting, and will there be a special place where we can see brands that need to revet and what the current status is for revet? So yes, we will absolutely go in depth on this in December, but I was speedy today going through the rest of the functionality. And so I'll give you a little bit of a preview when it comes to revetting. So a little bit different here inside of our registry as opposed to what's happening in the current system. So as it stands today, revetting happens automatically and is sent at the time of expiration. In order to make sure that information is accurate, up to date, and you as the lessee have control over when that vet is actually sent to your customer, we are asking you to take the affirmative action to submit your brand for revetting, and that is done inside of the portal. You can see any brand that needs to be revet by clicking that needs action filter, and it will bubble everything up to the top. And then the revetting process is as simple as coming in here, making sure that all of the information is correct, including your primary point of contact, and submitting for revetting. And that will pop it over to Aegis. Do brands now need to provide an image of their logo for brand vetting? No, they do not. There is the option for adding a logo inside of the brand onboarding process, and that's just to make the registry look nice. If you decide you don't want to add any logos, that's absolutely okay and fine to do. What will happen is exactly what's here up. I could either choose to add a little profile picture of myself, or it will just default to my initials. Will auto renews be available for carrier-owned codes? I don't know the answer to that question, actually. Do you know the answer to that
Yes.
question?
Yes, I was just going to post
Yeah.
to that one. Yes, the answer is yes, but there's no cost for carrier codes, but there's no you can just set it to auto renew, so it'll just keep it help, indefinitely.
Brilliant. Will our account number change once migrated?
No, you will not.
Okay.
You will, the codes, the numbers for the accounts, you can tell if it was original New Star, it's, the less than 3 million. If it's the iConnective is 3 million range, and for our suite, we just picked 4 million to make it easy. So, but your account number will not change on coming over.
And you can validate and verify that today, actually, by going to your account details page to see what your account ID is, and it should match what's inside of the registry.
Yep.
How can we change the billing terms of a code that was just transferred? So for instance, if we want to set it up for monthly billing, how do we set that up? So once the code comes over and is inside of your system, what you can do is, I can show you inside of here because it's the same process. Once it is yours, it's the same process as if you leased it yourself. So the lease will be, and of course I picked an outgoing transfer code as I randomly clicked on something. Let's do this one. So what you can do is you can update that lease term right now and select whatever subscription it is that you want the code to continue on to. Select it. You can decide if you want to keep it at a manual renewal or an auto renew. And you can do it straight from the code itself once you hit accept on that transfer.
You have one in the messages in the GCH books. You have one in the transferred in state, and you could show it that way.
Sweet. Outgoing transfer.
It's paid transfer in, and then
Transfer in. Yep. See it.
Second one to the top.
Oop. There it is. So you would need to start the onboarding process to add your brand to it. And then you can come into billing and invoices. There you go. So you can update the lease term.
Or you can renew it.
Or you can renew it. So that same process. So if you want to wait to pay for it until January 27th, 2026, select down here and the lease term that you would like to renew it at, or click the renew button. It will add it to your cart and you can pay for it now. What is meant by vetting in your presentation? So the CTIA works with a vetting agent. It is Aegis Mobile, and Aegis Mobile conducts all of the vetting for brands and content providers to make sure that they don't have any non-compliances against them. They check against a whole host of information, which I will let them speak to as opposed to me speaking on their behalf. I'm wondering if there is a qualifier to that question, or Jeff, is there anything you want to add to the vetting portion of the vetting and monitoring program?
Well, we could not answer the question and tell them we're going to talk about
We
it
are
in
going to
December.
talk about it in
So
December.
get them to come to the next one. I would just say it's our way of being able to understand who it is that's coming in the door, what they want to do, and just making sure they're legitimate and that we can identify them, that they're who they say they are. But we'll
Yeah.
get more into that detail. Sorry, Greg.
Okay, yeah, there's one other question. Will all information on my existing short code carry over? And the answer is yes. So let's say the brands, anything, whatever was kind of set up, will any term that's remaining, all that information will carry across into the registry with your short code. So no disruption there.
And I think that actually begs the question too, because we talked about it the last time we were all together, but I want to reiterate it because it is a change here. And that's with regards to, you saw as we went through the purchase process, at no point did anyone ask information about the brand or the content provider, which is currently necessary when you lease a code. So all of that information is coming over with you, as Greg just said. But if you're purchasing something net new when you come in, it will be independent in its own little bucket in terms of the code itself. And then you will come in to add any additional brands or content providers that should be included if they're new for that code as well. Or if it's a brand that is already in your brand library that has already been vetted, you can add it immediately. And that's the beauty of bifurcating that process. All right. I don't know if I trust my own Q&A
Yeah, it
feeds.
shows no more questions for me too, but like I said, I'm a little bit gun shy.
Thank you for raising your hand, Allison. I appreciate that. All right. Well, then, based on what I learned from our last webinar together, it takes a little bit of time to be able to process and download the video itself. So I will be sure to get this recording out to you tomorrow. If you do have any questions that occur to you after this call, please do not be shy about reaching out to either of us or to our customer success team at cso@usshortcodes.com. Thank you so much for joining us and your questions. And I look forward to seeing you on December 9th to be able to talk about vetting. Everyone have a really wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and I will speak with you in December. Any final words, Jeff?
Thank you very much for being here.
Awesome. Bye, y'all.